You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. What if I told you that everything you want in life is on the other side of one simple decision? The decision to take action. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready, but right now. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the right opportunity, or a sudden wave of motivation. But waiting is a trap. Because the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It fades. It fluctuates. And if you depend on it, you'll never get anywhere. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who force themselves to act, even when they don't feel like it. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, only to watch days, months, or even years slip away? That ends today. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 powerful ways to push past procrastination, break through resistance, and take control of your life. Because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. And the sooner you act, the faster you'll transform your future. No more excuses. No more delays. It's time to move. Let's dive in. Number 1. Understand that no one will do it for you. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to build your dreams for you. No one will pick you up every time you fall and push you forward when you feel stuck. It's on you. It has always been on you. That might sound harsh, but once you fully accept this truth, you unlock a powerful level of control over your life. Because when you stop waiting for someone else to step in and make things easier, you realize that your progress, your success is entirely up to you. And that's a liberating realization. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or some external validation that you're on the right path? But here's the truth. The perfect time will never come. If you're constantly waiting for ideal conditions, you'll stay exactly where you are while time keeps moving forward. And time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The longer you sit on the sidelines, hoping for a breakthrough, the further you drift from your goals. Waiting is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. And here's another hard truth. No one cares about your success as much as you do. You might have supportive friends, encouraging mentors, or loving family members, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make things happen. No one else can do the work for you. No one else can put in the hours, build the habits, or overcome your fears. Only you can do that. Look around. The people who achieve great things, whether in business, sports, health, or personal growth, didn't wait for someone to hand them success. They took action before they felt ready. They didn't wait for permission or a guarantee that everything would work out. They decided that no matter what, they were going to move forward. This is the mindset you need to develop. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop expecting someone else to pull you out of your struggles. It's your life, your responsibility, and your effort that will determine how far you go. Now ask yourself, what have you been putting off? Is it starting that business? Is it improving your health? Is it learning a new skill that could change your future? Whatever it is, stop waiting. The pain of regret is far worse than the discomfort of starting today. Imagine looking back a year from now and realizing that nothing has changed because you kept waiting. Imagine 5 years from now, still stuck in the same place, regretting every opportunity you let slip away. That's not the future you want. That's not the future you deserve. Yes, taking action is hard. Yes, it will challenge you. But that's the whole point. Growth is supposed to be hard. The struggle is what makes success valuable. The challenges you face along the way will build your resilience, sharpen your discipline, and prove to you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. So stop looking for an easier path. Stop hoping that someone will show up and push you forward. It's you versus you. You are your only limit, and you are your greatest advantage. Today, right now, make the decision to take action. Force yourself to move. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're not sure what's next, just start. Because the only thing worse than failing is never trying at all. Your future is waiting for you. No one else will create it for you. It's time to step up and take control. Number 2, commit to a routine and stick to it. Now that you understand that no one is going to do it for you, the next step is to take control of your time and energy. Because success doesn't come from just wanting it badly enough. It comes from what you do every single day. It comes from showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when motivation is gone, even when the excuses start creeping in. And the only way to guarantee consistent progress is to commit to a routine and stick to it. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack consistency. They start strong, full of excitement. But the moment things get difficult, they lose momentum. They break their routine, they lose discipline, and they fall back into old habits. And that's when the cycle of frustration begins. One where they keep starting over, but never truly move forward. But here's what you need to understand. Discipline beats motivation every time. Motivation is unreliable. It's temporary, unpredictable, and inconsistent. You'll never wake up every day feeling excited to work hard, to grind, to push through discomfort. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. It forces you to show up regardless. It keeps you locked into a system that ensures progress, even on the days when you'd rather take the easy way out. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've built businesses, achieved peak physical fitness, mastered their craft. Do you think they rely on motivation? No, they rely on habits. They've trained themselves to stick to a routine so that action becomes automatic. This is where most people go wrong. They try to rely on willpower alone. They think I'll just push myself when I need to. But willpower is a finite resource. It runs out quickly, but a well-structured routine removes the need for willpower because it eliminates the daily battle of deciding whether or not to take action. When your routine is locked in, there is no decision to make, only action to take. So how do you build a routine that forces you to take action? First, identify what truly matters. What are the habits and actions that will move you closer to your goals? Be specific. If you want to get in shape, your routine should include scheduled workouts. If you want to grow a business, you should have dedicated hours for focused work. If you want to master a skill, your daily schedule should reflect time for learning and practice. Your goals should be reflected in your routine. Otherwise, they're just wishes. Second, make your routine realistic. Don't set yourself up for failure by creating an impossible schedule that you'll abandon within a week. Start small but stay consistent. It's better to stick to a manageable routine every day than to burn out trying to do too much all at once. If you plan to work out for an hour every day but struggle to maintain it, start with 30 minutes and build from there. Sustainability is key. Next, remove obstacles and distractions. Your environment should support your routine, not sabotage it. If you want to wake up early and get to work, don't leave your phone next to your bed where it tempts you to scroll endlessly. If you want to focus, create a workspace that eliminates distractions. Set yourself up for success by designing an environment that makes action easy. But here's the most important part. Once you set your routine, you treat it as law. No negotiations. No, I don't feel like it today. You stick to it no matter what. Treat it like a contract with yourself. A contract that you do not break. There will be days when sticking to your routine feels like the hardest thing in the world. You'll be tired. You'll be stressed. You'll be tempted to push things to tomorrow. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that separate the people who achieve their goals from those who don't. Anyone can be disciplined when it's easy. True discipline is proven when it's hard. And don't just track your goals, track your consistency. Keep a record of how many days in a row you followed your routine. Because once you start seeing progress, once you realize that you're building something real, it becomes addictive. Every day you stick to your plan, you reinforce the habit. You build momentum. And momentum is powerful. It turns effort into results. But here's something you need to accept. You're not always going to feel like it. There will be days when your mind tries to convince you to take a break, to slack off, to put things off until tomorrow. Ignore it. The more you give in to those thoughts, the weaker your discipline becomes. But the more you push through them, the stronger you get. Remember, success isn't about massive action once in a while. It's about small, consistent action every single day. If you want to change your life, you don't do it by waiting for the perfect moment. You do it by building a routine that forces you to take action. No matter how you feel, your routine is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Stick to it. Stay disciplined. Because at the end of the day, the results you achieve will be a direct reflection of the routines you followed. And if you can commit to showing up every single day without excuses, your success is inevitable. Number 3, stop waiting. Waiting wastes time. You now understand that no one is coming to do it for you, and you've built a routine to keep yourself on track. But even with that knowledge, there's still one thing that keeps people stuck: the habit of waiting. Waiting for the perfect moment. Waiting for motivation. Waiting until they feel ready. But here's the hard truth. Waiting is a slow death for your dreams. Every second you spend waiting to take action is a second you'll never get back. And yet most people spend their entire lives convincing themselves that someday will be the right time to start. But someday is a lie. It doesn't exist. There is only now. And the more time you waste, the more you teach yourself to stay stuck. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who wait for perfect conditions. They're the ones who take action despite uncertainty. They move forward even when they don't feel prepared, because they understand something most people don't. Waiting only creates more waiting. It becomes a habit, a cycle that traps you in inaction. Ask yourself this: how many things have you already delayed? How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," only to watch weeks, months, or even years slip away? And what do you have to show for it? Regret, frustration, the realization that you could have been so much further ahead if only you had started sooner. That regret is painful, but it's also a lesson, because it teaches you this: you don't have unlimited time. Time is your most valuable resource. You can lose money and make it back. You can fail and try again. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. And every second you waste in hesitation is a second you could have spent building the life you want. So stop telling yourself that you need more time to plan, to research, to prepare. Planning is useful, but at some point, planning turns into procrastination. You don't need another article, another book, another perfect strategy. You need action. Because action leads to momentum, and momentum leads to progress. If you wait until you feel 100% ready, you'll never start. Because the truth is, no one ever feels completely ready. Success isn't about having all the answers before you begin. It's about starting anyway and figuring things out along the way. Think about it. The people who are achieving the things you want to achieve aren't necessarily smarter than you. They don't have more time in a day than you. The only difference is that they decided to stop waiting and start doing. What if instead of waiting for motivation, you just moved? What if instead of making excuses, you forced yourself to take the first step, no matter how small? The biggest mistake people make is thinking that waiting is harmless, that it's just a little delay. But waiting isn't neutral. It has consequences. Waiting weakens your confidence because you start to believe you're incapable of taking action. Waiting builds resistance because the longer you delay, the harder it gets to start. Waiting creates anxiety because deep down, you know you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And worst of all, waiting steals your future. Think about where you could be right now if you had started 1 year ago. If you had committed to your health, your business, your personal growth. How much progress would you have made? How different would your life look today? Now imagine a year from now. Where will you be if you keep waiting? The answer is simple. Exactly where you are now. Or worse, because life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't wait. And if you're not growing, you're falling behind. You have two choices. Keep waiting or start moving. And 1 year from now, you'll either be proud of the progress you made or filled with regret for the time you wasted. So what do? You act right now. Stop overthinking. Stop questioning yourself. Do something. Anything. To break the cycle of inaction, send that email. Make that call. Get up and move. Even the smallest step forward is better than standing still. And don't confuse movement with progress. Scrolling through social media looking for inspiration isn't action. Watching motivational videos isn't action. Action means you're doing something that directly moves you toward your goal. You might feel scared. Do it anyway. You might feel unprepared. Do it anyway. You might feel like you'll fail. Do it anyway. Because even if you fail, failure is progress. Failure means you tried. And every failure teaches you something that waiting never will. If you're still waiting for the right time, let me tell you, this is it. Right now, your future self is depending on you. Don't let them down. Number 4, use your own pain as a driving force. If you want to force yourself to take action, you need to tap into something deeper, something that fuels you even when you're exhausted, even when you feel like quitting. That fuel is your pain. Most people try to escape their pain. They run from it, numb it with distractions, or pretend it doesn't exist. But what if instead of avoiding your pain, you used it? What if you took all the frustration, the disappointment, the regret, and turned it into pure, unstoppable energy? Because here's the truth. Pain can either break you or build you. It all depends on how you use it. Think about the most painful moments of your life. The moments that made you feel defeated, rejected, lost. The moments that kept you awake at night, wondering if things would ever change. Those moments weren't meant to hold you back. They were meant to make you stronger. But strength doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it. If you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of living the same cycle of procrastination, self-doubt, and failure, then use that frustration. Let it remind you that you never want to feel this way again. Let it push you forward. Let it be the reason you refuse to quit. Because nothing is more powerful than a person who has turned their pain into a mission. Think about where you are right now. Are you happy with your progress? Or do you feel like you've been holding yourself back? Maybe you've wasted years waiting, hesitating, making excuses. Maybe you look in the mirror and see someone who has so much potential, but has never fully stepped into it. Does that hurt? It should. Because that pain is a wake-up call, a reminder that you don't have unlimited time, that every day you waste is a day you'll never get back. But here's the good news. You can use that pain. Take the pain of being out of shape and let it push you to train harder. Take the pain of financial struggle and let it drive you to work smarter, to learn more, to build something better. Take the pain of being overlooked, rejected, doubted, and let it fuel you to prove everyone wrong. Because every great success story starts with pain. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most inspiring leaders, all of them had to suffer before they succeeded. They faced rejection, loss, and struggle, but they didn't let it define them. They let it drive them. And that's exactly what you need to do. Think about your pain right now. The pain of knowing you could be more. The pain of watching time slip through your fingers. The pain of feeling stuck while others move forward. Hold on to that feeling. Let it burn. Let it fuel you. Because that pain is the proof that you are meant for more. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep letting it hold you down? Or will you take it, harness it, and turn it into power? You have to make a choice. You can either let your pain be the reason you stay stuck, or you can let it be the reason you finally change. Pain is temporary. Regret lasts forever. You don't want to wake up 10 years from now and realize you let your pain win, that you let fear, self-doubt, and hesitation steal the life you were meant to live. You have a fire inside you. Use it. Let every disappointment, every failure, every setback be the reason you fight harder, the reason you refuse to give up, the reason you wake up every day and go after what you want with everything you have. Because once you learn to use your pain, nothing can stop you. Number 5. Eliminate excuses completely. If you want to force yourself to take action, you must eliminate the one thing that keeps you stuck more than anything else. Excuses. Excuses are the silent killers of progress. They disguise themselves as logic, as reasonable justifications for why you can't do something right now. But in reality, every excuse you make is a decision to stay exactly where you are. Excuses feel comforting. They let you off the hook. They give you a reason to delay, to postpone, to avoid discomfort. But what have your excuses ever given you besides regret? What have they ever built for you besides disappointment? The truth is, your excuses are stealing your life. Every time you say, I don't have time, or I'm too tired, or I'll start next week, you are choosing to let your circumstances control you instead of taking control of your circumstances. Think about it. How many times have you allowed an excuse to hold you back? How many opportunities have passed you by because you convinced yourself that you weren't ready? How many times have you told yourself that you'll start tomorrow, only to repeat that same lie the next day? Excuses are nothing more than stories we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. If you are serious about changing your life, you need to eliminate excuses completely. Start by recognizing your patterns. Pay attention to the moments when you start to justify an action. When you catch yourself saying, I don't have time, stop and ask yourself, is that really true? Or am I just choosing something else over my goals? Because the truth is, you make time for what you prioritize. If something truly matters to you, you'll find a way. If it doesn't, you'll find an excuse. Maybe you think, I don't know how to start. But here's the reality. No one starts as an expert. No one has all the answers in the beginning. The difference between people who succeed and people who fail is that successful people start before they feel ready. They don't wait to have all the knowledge, all the resources, or all the skills. They take action and they figure it out along the way. You don't need to have it all planned out. You just need to start. Maybe your excuse is, I'm too tired. But what if you pushed yourself anyway? What if instead of giving in to fatigue, you did what needed to be done regardless of how you felt? Because here's the truth. Your body and mind will always look for the easy way out. Your brain is wired for comfort. It will try to convince you that you need a break, that you should take it easy, that you'll feel better if you just rest. But success doesn't come from listening to those thoughts. It comes from overriding them. Maybe you think, it's too hard. But of course, it's hard. Anything worth having is hard. The struggle is part of the process. The obstacles are what separate those who make it from those who don't. If success were easy, everyone would have it. But only those who refuse to make excuses, only those who push through difficulty, ever reach the top. Excuses are addictive. The more you make them, the easier it gets to justify doing nothing. But the good news is, the opposite is also true. The more you reject excuses, the stronger you become. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you take action despite your doubts, you train yourself to be unstoppable. So how do you eliminate excuses completely? You start by taking full responsibility for your life. No more blaming circumstances. No more blaming other people. No more blaming time, money, or energy. You own your actions, your choices, and your results. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will find a way. Because there is always a way. You just have to be willing to take it. Next, you build discipline. Discipline means doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it. It means keeping your commitments to yourself. It means making your actions non-negotiable. If you say you're going to work out, you work out. If you say you're going to start your business, you start. If you say you're going to wake up early, you wake up. No negotiations, no excuses, just action. And finally, you reframe your mindset. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to stop, see them as challenges to overcome. Instead of viewing failure as a reason to quit, see it as a lesson. Instead of looking for the easy way out, embrace the hard path, because that's the path that leads to strength. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is one decision. The decision to stop making excuses and start taking action. 1 year from now, you will either be proud of yourself for pushing forward or full of regret for holding yourself back. The choice is yours. But let me tell you this, excuses will never build the life you want, only action will. So eliminate them completely, right now, and go make things happen. Number 6, push through resistance with a strong mindset. No matter how committed you are, no matter how much you want success, there will always be something standing in your way, resistance. Resistance is the invisible force that tries to hold you back every time you attempt to grow, improve, or change your life. It's the voice in your head that tells you, not today, or you're too tired, or you can do it later. It's the overwhelming feeling of hesitation that stops you from taking action, even when you know exactly what you need to do. Every successful person has faced resistance. Every athlete, every entrepreneur, every artist, every leader has felt that pull toward comfort, toward inaction. But the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who stay stuck is simple. Successful people push through resistance, no matter how strong it feels. You need to understand something important. Resistance never goes away. It's not something you outgrow. It's not something that disappears once you reach a certain level of success. It will always be there. But that's not a bad thing. Resistance is proof that what you're doing matters. The stronger the resistance, the more meaningful the action. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth it. The problem is that most people think resistance is a sign to stop. They think, if this feels difficult, maybe it's not the right time. But that's a lie. Resistance is not a stop sign. It's a test. It's the universe asking you, how badly do you want this? And the only way to pass the test is to push forward, even when everything inside you is telling you to quit. So how do you push through resistance when it feels overwhelming? The first step is to recognize it for what it is. Resistance is not reality. It's not truth. It's just a mental barrier, one that gets weaker the moment you take action. The longer you hesitate, the stronger resistance grows. But the second you start moving, it starts to disappear. Think about this. Have you ever dreaded starting a task, only to realize once you began that it wasn't as bad as you thought? That's resistance at work. It builds up fear and doubt, but once you break through that first step, it loses its power. The key is to act before your mind has a chance to talk you out of it. Don't wait. Don't negotiate. Just move. Another powerful way to overcome resistance is to remind yourself of your why. Why are you doing this? Why does it matter? If your reason is weak, resistance will always win. But if your reason is strong, if you have a purpose that fuels you, then nothing can stop you. Make your why bigger than your excuses. Discipline is also crucial in overcoming resistance. Discipline means doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It means treating your commitments as non-negotiable. There will be days when you don't want to put in the work, push through anyway. There will be moments when you feel like quitting, keep going anyway. You can't afford to only take action when it's easy. Success is built on the days when you push through, even when you don't want to. Another way to fight resistance is to break big tasks into small, manageable steps. Sometimes resistance feels overwhelming because the goal ahead seems too big. Instead of focusing on the entire journey, focus on the next step. Take one small action. then another. Momentum builds when you take consistent, small actions. You also need to eliminate mental and physical distractions. Resistance thrives in an environment full of distractions. Your phone, social media, unnecessary notifications, endless scrolling, cut them out. Create a space where action is the only option. Set yourself up for success. If your environment makes it easy to procrastinate, change it. If certain people around you encourage laziness, limit your time with them. Surround yourself with discipline and focus. One of the biggest mindset shifts you can make is to stop seeing resistance as an enemy and start seeing it as a challenge. Instead of thinking, why is this so hard? Think, how strong can I become by pushing through this? Instead of saying, I don't feel like it, say, I'm gonna do it anyway. Resistance is not there to stop you. It's there to make you stronger. And here's the truth. Resistance always feels strongest right before a breakthrough. The moment when you feel like giving up, the moment when everything inside you is screaming to quit. That's the moment you need to push harder. Because on the other side of that resistance is growth. On the other side is progress. On the other side is the life you've been working toward. The more you push through resistance, the easier it gets. You build mental toughness. You develop the ability to take action no matter what. And once you train yourself to push past resistance, you become unstoppable. So the next time resistance shows up, and it will, recognize it, challenge it, and push through it. Because every time you do, you take one step closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. No more waiting. No more hesitation. Move forward, no matter what. Number 7. Remove distractions from your environment. If you want to force yourself to take action, you have to create an environment that makes action unavoidable. The truth is, your surroundings play a bigger role in your success than you realize. No matter how disciplined or motivated you are, if you're constantly surrounded by distractions, you will struggle to stay focused, and you will waste time. Distractions are silent killers of progress. They seem small, harmless, and insignificant in the moment, but they add up. 5 minutes of scrolling turns into 30. One quick episode on Netflix turns into a binge watch session. A few unnecessary conversations drain your energy. By the end of the day, you look back and realize you barely made progress toward your goals. And that's how days turn into weeks. Weeks into months, and months into years, without real change. Successful people understand one thing clearly. Your environment dictates your behavior. If you put yourself in a space filled with distractions, you will constantly struggle to stay on track. But if you create an environment where action is the easiest option, you eliminate the need to rely on willpower, and you make progress automatic. The first step to removing distractions is identifying them. Most people don't even realize how much time they lose every day due to small, unnecessary distractions. Look at your daily routine. What's pulling your attention away from what truly matters? Is it your phone, social media, TV, unproductive conversations, a noisy environment? Be brutally honest with yourself. The distractions that seem harmless in small doses are the ones that are costing you your goals. Once you know what's holding you back, the next step is eliminating those distractions. If your phone is the problem, put it on silent or keep it in another room while you work. If social media is eating away at your time, delete the apps from your phone or use website blockers. If your environment is too noisy, invest in noise-canceling headphones or find a quiet place to work. One of the biggest distractions in today's world is technology. It's designed to steal your attention. Social media platforms, video streaming services, and even news sites are engineered to keep you engaged as long as possible. Every notification, every new post, every autoplay feature is competing for your focus. If you're serious about getting things done, you need to take control of your digital environment. Turn off notifications, set app limits, and be intentional about when and how you use technology. Another major distraction is people. Sometimes the people around us unintentionally pull us away from our goals. Friends who constantly text you, coworkers who interrupt your workflow, family members who demand your attention at the wrong times. All of these interactions, while seemingly small, can add up to massive losses in productivity. You don't have to cut people off, but you do have to set boundaries. Let people know when you're working and unavailable. Schedule specific times for socializing so that it doesn't interfere with your progress. Distractions don't just come from the outside, they also come from inside your own mind. Overthinking, self-doubt, and procrastination are some of the biggest internal distractions that stop people from taking action. You have to train your mind to stay focused. One powerful technique is time blocking. Dedicate specific periods of time to deep work, and during those blocks, commit to 0 distractions. Set a timer for 60-90 minutes, work with full focus, and then take a short break before starting again. This helps you build the habit of sustained concentration. Your physical space also affects your focus. A cluttered desk, an unorganized room, or a messy workspace can create mental chaos. When your environment is clear, organized, and structured, your mind follows. Take time to declutter your space and design it in a way that makes productivity effortless. Keep only the essentials in your workspace. Remove anything that doesn't serve a purpose. If something doesn't contribute to your progress, it doesn't need to be there. Another key to eliminating distractions is having a clear plan. When you don't know exactly what you need to do, your mind will wander and distractions will take over. Start each day with a specific list of tasks. Prioritize the most important ones and attack them first. When your mind has a clear direction, it's easier to stay focused and ignore distractions. You also need to be mindful of energy management. Sometimes we get distracted because we're simply too tired to focus. If you're constantly drained, you'll be more likely to seek out distractions as a way to escape. Prioritize rest, eat well, exercise, and take care of your mental health. A well-rested, energized mind is far less likely to be distracted. But here's the most important thing. You need to create an identity shift. Stop seeing yourself as someone who tries to be productive. Instead, start identifying as someone who is highly focused and disciplined. Tell yourself, I am the kind of person who gets things done. I am the kind of person who stays focused. I do not let distractions control me. When you change the way you see yourself, your actions will follow. At the end of the day, distractions are not something you can afford to take lightly. They are the difference between reaching your goals and staying stuck in the same place. They are the small daily choices that determine whether you succeed or fail. So ask yourself, are you in control of your environment, or is your environment controlling you? If you want to succeed, you have to take charge. Remove distractions, build an environment that supports your goals, and make it impossible to fail. Because when you eliminate distractions, you eliminate excuses. And when there are no excuses left, the only thing left to do is take action. Number 8, use the pain of inaction as a motivator. If you truly want to force yourself to take action, you need to stop thinking about how hard it is to start and start thinking about how painful it will be if you don't. Too many people avoid action because they fear discomfort. They fear the effort, the struggle, the sacrifice. But what they fail to realize is that the pain of staying the same is far worse than the pain of taking action. Right now, think about something important that you've been putting off. Maybe it's getting in shape. Maybe it's starting that business. Maybe it's improving a skill, fixing your finances, or rebuilding a relationship. Whatever it is, you know deep down that you should have started by now. But instead, you've hesitated. You've made excuses. You've let time pass. And what does that cost you? That's the pain of inaction. It's a slow, creeping pain that doesn't hit you all at once. It builds over time. It's the frustration of knowing you could be further ahead. It's the regret of missed opportunities. It's the weight of knowing you wasted time you will never get back. And that realization, that hurts more than any temporary struggle of taking action. The worst part about inaction is that it creates a downward spiral. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. The more you delay, the more you start to believe the lie that you're not ready, that it's too late, or that you're not capable. But let me tell you something. The only thing making it harder is your hesitation. The second you decide to move, that hesitation starts to lose power. The truth is, you don't have unlimited time. Every day you wait, you're losing time. You can never get back. And time is the one thing you can never replace. You can make more money. You can rebuild lost opportunities. But you can never recover lost time. If you don't use it, you lose it, period. Now picture yourself 5 years from now. Imagine waking up one morning, looking in the mirror, and realizing that nothing has changed. You're still in the same place, still making the same excuses, still waiting for the right time. How does that feel? That feeling is the pain of inaction. And if you don't act now, that's exactly where you're headed. But you don't have to let that happen. You can use that pain as fuel. Instead of letting regret consume you, let it push you forward. Every time you feel tempted to procrastinate, remind yourself what's at stake. Remind yourself that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. The key to using the pain of inaction as a motivator is to shift your focus. Most people focus on the short-term discomfort of taking action. The early mornings, the effort, the learning curve, the failures along the way. But successful people focus on the long-term consequences of not taking action. They don't just think about the work they have to put in today. They think about what their life will look like if they fail to act. Start training yourself to do the same. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop and ask yourself, what will my life look like if I don't change? Where will I be in 1 year? In 5 years? Will I be proud of myself? Or will I be stuck in regret? Be brutally honest. If the answer scares you, use that fear to move. This is not about being hard on yourself. It's about waking yourself up. The mind will always try to avoid discomfort, but you have to remind yourself that the greatest discomfort of all is knowing you had the chance to change and didn't take it. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you think they never faced the temptation to delay, to make excuses, to wait for the perfect moment? Of course they did. But they used their pain as fuel. They let the thought of failure drive them forward. They let the fear of regret push them to take action, even when they didn't feel like it. And that's exactly what you need to do. If you want to take control of your life, you must stop fearing the struggle and start fearing the cost of staying the same. The discomfort of action is nothing compared to the agony of realizing you wasted your potential. Because at the end of the day, you're going to feel pain either way. The question is, will it be the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? One of the best ways to use the pain of inaction as motivation is to keep a reminder of your future self. Write down your biggest goal and keep it somewhere visible. Every time you feel like quitting, look at it. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what's at stake. Remind yourself that your future is being shaped right now at this moment. And remember, you are not stuck. No matter how much time you've wasted in the past, you can still change your future. But you have to make a choice. You can keep waiting, keep delaying, keep letting fear hold you back. Or you can decide right now that enough is enough, that you're done letting time slip away, that you're going to move. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't feel ready, even if you're scared, because one day you will look back at this moment, and you will either be grateful that you took action or devastated that you didn't make the choice that your future self will thank you for. Take action today, because the pain of inaction is a price you don't want to pay. Number 9, remind yourself of the end result. Every great achievement starts with a vision, a clear, undeniable picture of what success looks like. But along the way, when things get hard, when the motivation fades, and when the progress seems too slow, most people forget why they even started. They get caught up in the struggle, distracted by the setbacks, and overwhelmed by the effort required. And that's when they start to lose momentum. If you want to force yourself to take action consistently, you must train your mind to focus on the end result rather than the temporary discomfort of the process. Think about it. When you first set a goal, you were excited. You imagined the rewards, the sense of accomplishment, the pride you'd feel when you finally achieved what you set out to do. But what happens over time? That excitement wears off, and all you can see is the difficulty of the journey ahead. The workouts become exhausting. The long hours of work seem endless. The failures make you question yourself. And before you know it, you start making excuses, delaying progress, and slowly convincing yourself that maybe it's not worth it after all. This is why most people quit. Not because they aren't capable, but because they lose sight of where they are going. They focus too much on the pain of the process instead of the pleasure of the outcome. But here's the truth. Every struggle, every sacrifice, every hard day is temporary. The only thing that lasts is the result, and that result is what you need to keep in your mind at all times. Take a moment right now and imagine the best possible version of yourself. The version that has already achieved everything you are working toward. Picture the confidence, the freedom, the success, and the fulfillment that comes from following through on your commitments. Imagine waking up every morning proud of what you've built, proud of the discipline you developed, proud of the fact that you didn't let fear or laziness win. That's your end result. That's what you're fighting for. Now compare that vision to where you are today. What's standing between you and that reality? The answer is simple. Your willingness to keep going. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is only as big as your ability to take action, even when you don't feel like it. The more you remind yourself of the life you're working toward, the less power excuses will have over you. One of the most effective ways to stay focused on the end result is to create visual reminders. Successful people don't rely on willpower alone. They use external triggers to keep their goals front and center. Put a picture of your goals somewhere you'll see it every day. Write down your biggest dreams and place them where you'll be reminded of them constantly. Whether it's a vision board, a note on your phone, or a mantra you repeat every morning. Make sure that your future success is always in front of you. Another powerful strategy is to use mental rehearsal. Before you start your day, take a few minutes to close your eyes and visualize yourself accomplishing your goal. Imagine yourself crossing the finish line, holding that diploma, launching that business, standing on stage, or reaching whatever milestone matters to you. The more vividly you can picture it, the more real it becomes. When you see the reward clearly in your mind, the hard work doesn't feel as overwhelming. Instead of feeling like an endless grind, it becomes a necessary step towards something incredible. But here's the key. You can't just think about the end result. You have to feel it. You have to emotionally connect to what it will mean for you. How will your life change when you reach your goal? How will it feel to finally prove to yourself that you followed through? How much better will you sleep at night, knowing that you didn't let fear or procrastination hold you back? When you make the end result real in your mind, the effort required to get there feels worth it. And let's be honest, this journey will not be easy. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when setbacks make you question everything, when nothing seems to be working. But those are the moments that separate winners from quitters. Those are the moments when you have to remind yourself why you started. The difference between successful people and those who fail is not talent. It's not luck. It's not having better opportunities. It's the ability to keep moving forward when the process gets hard. The people who win in life are the ones who refuse to lose sight of the end result, no matter what obstacles get in their way. Think about the pain of giving up. Imagine looking back a year from now, realizing that you let another 12 months pass without real progress. Imagine knowing that you could have been so much further ahead if only you had stayed committed. That regret is far worse than any temporary struggle you're facing right now. But now picture the opposite. Imagine sticking to your path, grinding through the tough days, showing up for yourself even when no one is watching. Imagine what it will feel like to finally arrive at your destination, to finally see the proof of your effort, the rewards of your persistence, the transformation that only comes from consistent action. That feeling is worth every sacrifice. So the next time you feel tired, unmotivated, or tempted to quit, shift your focus. Stop thinking about how hard it is. Stop thinking about how long it will take. Instead, think about what's waiting for you on the other side. Think about the person you're becoming. Think about the version of yourself that never quit. Because at the end of the day, the work you put in now is shaping your future. Every decision matters. Every action counts. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you take another step closer to the life you want. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused on the end result, and nothing will be able to stop you. Number 10. Reward yourself for progress. One of the biggest mistakes people make when working toward a goal is waiting until they've reached the finish line to feel a sense of accomplishment. They push themselves relentlessly, focusing only on how far they still have to go rather than recognizing how far they've already come. And while discipline and commitment are crucial, so is acknowledging your progress along the way. If you don't take time to appreciate your small wins, you'll lose motivation, burn out, and eventually stop altogether. Success isn't about a single grand achievement. It's about the accumulation of small, consistent efforts over time. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you are moving in the right direction. And if you want to keep pushing forward, you need to reinforce that progress. The key? Reward yourself. Not just at the end, but throughout the journey. Most people associate rewards with laziness or indulgence. But in reality, rewarding yourself is one of the most powerful psychological strategies for maintaining long-term discipline. When you celebrate progress, no matter how small, you create positive reinforcement. Your brain begins to associate effort with reward, making it easier to stay consistent. Instead of seeing hard work as a punishment, you start viewing it as a process that leads to something meaningful. Think about it. When you accomplish something and take a moment to appreciate it, you feel a sense of fulfillment. That feeling creates a desire to keep going. But when you ignore your progress and only focus on what's left to do, you feel like you're running on an endless treadmill, never truly getting anywhere. That's when frustration sets in. That's when quitting starts to look tempting. So how do you reward yourself effectively? First, you need to recognize progress in real time. Instead of waiting until you've hit a massive milestone, break your journey into smaller steps. If your goal is to lose weight, don't just celebrate when you hit your ideal weight. Acknowledge every pound lost, every workout completed, every healthy meal chosen over junk food. If your goal is to build a business, don't wait until you make your first million. Celebrate every new client, every successful project, every lesson learned. Small wins matter, they add up. And every time you recognize a win, you reinforce the habit of taking action. Next, make sure your rewards align with your goals. A reward should be something that motivates you to keep going, not something that derails your progress. For example, if you're trying to get in shape, rewarding yourself with a junk food binge will only set you back. Instead, buy yourself new workout gear, allow yourself a guilt-free rest day, or treat yourself to something that supports your journey. If your goal is productivity, don't reward yourself with endless hours of distraction. Reward yourself with a meaningful break, a new book, or an experience that re-energizes you. The key is balance. Reward should enhance your growth, not take away from it. Another powerful way to reward yourself is to track your progress visibly. Seeing your accomplishments in front of you creates motivation like nothing else. Keep a journal, a progress board, or even a simple checklist. Every time you check off a completed task, your brain registers a small victory. Over time, those small victories build momentum. And here's something important. You need to take time to appreciate the intangible rewards as well. Not all progress is measured in numbers. Sometimes the biggest reward is the confidence you gain, the discipline you build, the mental strength you develop. Take a moment to acknowledge how much stronger, wiser, and more capable you've become. That in itself is worth celebrating. But what about setbacks? What about days when progress feels slow? Should you still reward yourself? Absolutely. Because even showing up when you don't feel like it is a victory, even pushing through the resistance when it would be easier to quit, is a win. And learning from failure is a form of progress too. The people who stay consistent are not the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who find reasons to keep going, even when the results aren't immediate. They don't just work toward the big goal, they fall in love with the process. This is why rewarding yourself is so crucial. It keeps the process enjoyable. If you treat every step of the journey as suffering, you'll never last. But if you find ways to appreciate every stage of growth, you'll stick with it long enough to see real results. Think about any long-term goal you've ever had. How many times have you given up because the results weren't coming fast enough? How many times have you walked away from something that could have changed your life because you didn't take the time to appreciate how much progress you were actually making? Imagine if you had stuck with it. Imagine if, instead of quitting, you had kept going. Where would you be today? Now imagine applying that lesson to your current goals. Imagine staying committed, pushing through, and celebrating every small step forward. Imagine how much further ahead you will be a year from now if you make that shift today. It all starts with acknowledging that progress isn't just about the end goal. It's about becoming the person who shows up, takes action, and refuses to quit. And when you reward yourself for being that person, you train yourself to keep going, no matter what. So don't wait until the finish line to feel accomplished. Find joy in the journey. Recognize your growth. Celebrate your progress. Because every step forward matters. And the more you appreciate the process, the more unstoppable you become. At this point, you know exactly what you need to do. You understand that no one is coming to save you. You know that waiting is just another form of self-sabotage. You've learned how to push through resistance, eliminate distractions, and build unstoppable momentum. But knowing isn't enough. The real question is, will you act? Because everything we've talked about means nothing if you don't take action. Knowledge without execution is wasted potential. You can sit here, nodding your head in agreement, feeling inspired, telling yourself that tomorrow will be different. But let me be honest with you. If you don't move now, you never will. Because tomorrow turns into next week turns into next year. And before you know it, you'll be stuck in the same place, looking back on all the time you wasted. Don't let that happen. You have two choices. You can keep making excuses. Keep waiting for the perfect moment. Keep watching others succeed while you stay stuck. Or you can decide, right now, that you're done waiting, that you're done making excuses, that you're going to take control of your life and force yourself to move forward, no matter what. The reality is nothing changes unless you do. No amount of motivation will save you if you're not willing to push yourself. No amount of inspiration will matter if you don't take action. Success belongs to those who act, not to those who wish. So start now. Take that first step, no matter how small. Build the habit of showing up for yourself every single day. Push through the resistance. Eliminate the distractions. Stay focused on the end result and refuse to quit. Because 1 year from now, you will either be proud of yourself for taking action or full of regret for staying the same. The choice is yours. But whatever you do, don't wait. Your future self is depending on you. Make the decision today. Take action now. Because if you don't do it, no one else will.